Today's video has me pondering a very simple question. What would you do? So, here we go. It is often said that none of us have the right to judge or condemn another person. Generally speaking, the right thing to do is considered to be allow the justice system to do its job. However, as we grow up, experiences often show that justice is not always served. Whether it's legal loopholes, precedents, or simply karma not doing its job, as I've said before, sadly good things happen to bad people, and bad things can happen to good people. It was a quiet day in sleepy Cheshire, England in July 2020 when 81-year-old Michael Baines was sleeping peacefully in the home he shared with his wife Corinna, aged 59. The couple had been married when Corinna Smith was in her early 20s and Michael was in his 40s. They had a blended family together. Corinna had experienced major grief in her life when her son Craig took his own life in 2007. He was just 25 years old. Craig had been in trouble with the law for attacking a man previously and was convicted of the assault. The day before his passing, he had become upset in his mother's home and said to her through tears, "Mum, he's a p***." I can't actually say that word here on YouTube, but just know that it's the worst word beginning with P. He took his life the following day. The family were left distraught, and the only explanation they had was the connection between the man he randomly attacked and what he had told her. Her husband Michael was getting on in years, and Corinna was increasingly becoming less his wife and more his carer. She had always been close with her daughter, but had recently been fighting with her more. As Michael slept, he was suddenly awoken in immense pain like he'd never felt before, and his wife coldly looking down at him. The day before the attack took place, Corinna had again fought with her daughter while they were out, and the now grown woman was finally pushed to reveal that Michael had done terrible things to both her and her brother as children. Terrible things. More stuff I can't explicitly say on YouTube, but terrible, terrible, terrible things. Initially, Corinna was said to be livid, but calmed down when her daughter and son-in-law took her home. As the night went on, she began to ring around other relatives. Suddenly, a cold realization came over Corinna. Her son had not been talking about the man he had assaulted, but rather her own husband Michael. His anger growing up had all stemmed from the horrible things he was being put through by his own father figure. Assaulting the man which had sent him to prison had indeed been a random attack which had, like many things, come out of Craig's pent-up anger. When the young man had, the day before his passing, declared, "Mum, he's a p***," Craig had been referring to the man in the next room. Corinna went quiet. She filled a bucket from her garden with boiling water and mixed it with 3 kilograms of sugar. As her elderly husband of 38 years lay asleep in the bed, she poured the contents over his arms and torso, and as he screamed in agony, she wordlessly left the property. She then calmly and without rushing walked to the home of a neighbour 9 doors away, with whom she was not close. She began to cry and admitted what she had done to the neighbour, and told them, "I've hurt him really bad. I think I've killed him." When police arrived a brief time later, they discovered Mr. Baines in excruciating pain and whimpering in horrifying agony and crying in bed with the skin on his right arm and his hand stripping off. He was essentially being actively boiled to death. It was nearly impossible to remove the concoction, even with medical intervention. As anyone who's taken science in school will know, the sugar placed into the water makes it viscous. It becomes thicker and stickier and sinks into every pore in the skin. He was taken to hospital and remained in the burns unit for 2 weeks, where his condition was stable but fatal. He eventually passed from his condition. Initially, Corinna denied the story, but eventually admitted what she had done. Corinna was found guilty after a trial at Chester Crown Court and jailed for life with a minimum of 12 years. It was concluded that enough time had passed between her realization and the act she committed that the murder was deemed to be premeditative. You see, and this is by no means me giving you a how-to, but just so you know, in order to get leniency with something like this, you'd have to do it very fast, so it's like a fit of rage. Baines himself obviously was never tried for the acts he was accused of. I'm extremely curious to know your take on this. I would pose a what-if scenario to you. What if you were in Corinna's shoes? Do you think she deserves to be punished? And let me know why or why not. I really want to know. Until we speak again, sending you good vibes. Stay safe out there.